Hi guys, Olivia here, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Friday, May 15th, and I am back for my stitching update. Hope you've all been well and that you have been stitching and creating and making all of the things. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. This is a video podcast about cross-stitching and sometimes quilting. However, if you are not interested in seeing the quilts, no worries. I show them in the second half of my video and I let you know in plenty of time that they are going to make an appearance, and then that way you can go on to the next video. I've only done this introduction like 800 times. I don't know what it is about introductions, you know. Once I get past that, I'm good to go. But yeah, I've got to stop telling myself that, oh, that sounds dumb, delete, start over again. Oh, that sounds dumb, delete, start over again. So hopefully this is the video that, you know, this is the take that I'm going to keep, and it's all going to go great from here. So it's been 2 weeks since my last video. I honestly don't know where the past 2 weeks went. I don't know. I feel like time is just on this supersonic bullet train right now. And every day just, you get up, you do the same things, and then it's bedtime. And then you get up, and it's just a repeat of the day before. I think in my last video, I had plans to, I had two previous finishes that I had planned to deconstruct them, paint the frames, re-put them back together a different way, and that didn't happen. I had plans to quilt a couple of quilts. They're still laying on my quilt machine waiting. Everything's waiting. I don't know. I think I need to stop making plans. I just need to wake up and be like, oh, I'm just gonna go out here for a little while and just work on this. Because the moment I make plans, it just all I don't know, it goes right into the toilet, honestly. So, over the past 2 weeks, I do hope that you've been able to get lots of stuff done. I have been enjoying seeing all of the Stitch Mania starts, a few finishes, so that's always fun. A lot of people, I think the 15 days is their stopping off point, because when Stitch Mania originally started, I believe it was back in 2015, and it started with 15 new starts the first 15 days in May, and then as the years have went by, people have kind of turned it into their own kind of mania their way. And so a lot of people, today is the final day, and I've really been enjoying seeing everything. I love when somebody has a theme. I think it's so neat that, you know, it's just very well thought out and methodical, and I really like to see that. I also like Whip Mania. That's a lot of fun when you see, you know, especially if you've been following some of the same people for a long time, you've kind of seen their progression as they went, so it's really neat to see their whips come back out and them working on it. It's just a lot of fun. So I've been enjoying that. So this video here, I don't have any finishes to show, except I did go through I have this box that I keep, and it's got a lot of my previous finishes in it, and I was going through it, I was looking for something, and I came across a finish that I forgot about. And I discovered that it's not quite finished, and luckily I still have the pattern, and so I'll show that. It's buried. I kind of came out here and I just started stacking stuff on top of each other in the hopes that I would be able to very, you know, fancily pull it all out and look very professional, and I probably won't. I'll drop half of it. Anyway, I did receive some happy mail over the past couple of weeks. And I also did make some purchases. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I guess you could call it stash enhancement. Only one of these things I actually have the plans to start soon, and the other ones I don't. And I mean, I guess I could have waited, but I didn't want to. I don't know. I've been kind of in a weird mood lately. I did receive some happy mail this past week. Donna Kirkland, she sent me the Rovara, she doesn't name her charts, but she sent me this patriotic chart. She had accidentally bought two, and so she sent me the duplicate because she knows that I love patriotic, and I do. And Rovara's charts always come with a couple of beautiful little charms, and so I'm so happy to get this. Thank you so much, Donna. I loved your letter, and I plan on answering your letter back because It's pretty rare these days. It used to be, I mean, when I was growing up, you always got, you know, letters in the mail from family because that's the way that you communicated with everybody. And so nowadays it's really easy. You've got social media, you've got email and all of that. And it's pretty rare when you get a letter in the mail. And it's a lot of fun and I love it. I love getting cards in the mail. It's just so fun. Nobody does that anymore. And so Donna, I really loved your letter. It was a hoot, and I plan on answering you back because I thought that would be fun. So I will definitely work on that this week and get my letter to you sent out. Thank you so much for the chart. I love it. You know I love patriotic, so I was so happy to get it. I also got a little something from Susan Strong, and she sent me this beautiful card. Love it. And she told me that she had some fancy floss that she was never going to use. She's a DMC girl, and so she sent me all of this beautiful floss. The funny thing is 3 of these I needed for a project. So that was a lot of fun because all 3 of the flosses that I need, they've been sold out forever and I don't know when they're going to come back into stock. And so I was so blessed to get them. Thank you so much, Susan. And by the way, I was going to tell you, my aunt also lives in Post Falls, Idaho, and she really loves it. So it's so cool that you guys both live in the same town. I know one of these days my grandma has been hounding me to take her up there. And I know one of these days I will end up making my way up there. And so when I do, I'm going to be looking you up. So, but thank you so much for the floss. I love it. Thank you. I also, I did some stash enhancement, and all of that kind of came this past week. Some of the stuff I had bought at the beginning of the month, and it just, you know, things have been taking a little while to get to me. One of the things though, I was so excited to get it. I have been waiting forever, ever since Heritage Sampler came out and somebody told me that there was a companion piece, and I went and I looked it up and I saw it and fell in love, only to find out you couldn't get it. It was a retreat piece, and that the shop had exclusive rights to it, and it was hard telling when it was going to be released, and then Dying to Stitch announced it, and then here it is. So this has been released everywhere now. It's a new constellation by Plum Street Samplers. If you haven't watched the video where she explains about this particular sampler, I'll put the link for it down below because it's so neat. I love how when she puts out a release like this and then she talks about her thoughts and what each part of it means, is just really cool. And then day before yesterday, I discovered that there is a 3rd piece to this, that if you went to the Dying to Stitch retreat, that's what your project was going to be. And it is beautiful. It has salt box houses, it has a big American flag, it has cute little ladies. It's just to die for. And you can't get it yet because Dying to Stitch does have the exclusive rights to it for the retreat. And so I'm guessing it's a situation where you just gotta kind of wait, hopefully for just a year. Not like, I mean, even if it was to release today, there's no way I would be able to, you know, get all 3 of them done. So at least it gives me a little bit of time to start Heritage and then start this one, and then hopefully have them both done or partially done or one done. But my dream is to have all 3 of them on the wall together. I love them. I can't wait. And I also plan on doing mine in all DMC. And then she also released this. So this is Liberty Lodge, and I pre-ordered this from the Stitch and Frog, which is Stitch and Frog has amazing service. And I've bought several things from her since the whole shutdown quarantine started, and she gets her stuff out really quick. I mean, I love it. And so I pre-ordered this one from her. And then I also, from a different place, I pre-ordered these. So these ones here, this is Loose Feathers Summer, Autumn, and Winter. So these 3 have been on my wish list the longest. From back before when I came back into cross stitching, I found this on Pinterest, and with a lot of the earlier Blackbirds, it was out of print. Didn't know if it was ever going to come back into print, and then I saw that they are re-releasing a bunch of their charts, and this was one of them, and I jumped on it immediately that day. As soon as somebody had a pre-order, I went ahead and pre-ordered it, and I love it. I'm really excited. I'm going to be stitching it with a mixture of DMC and fancy floss. I haven't decided yet on the fabric. I think it's stitched on 32, and I feel like that's probably what I'm gonna do it on. I'm gonna do them all on one piece. It's gorgeous. I'm so excited that it released. I know they have some other stuff that's gonna be releasing over the summer, which I'm very excited for because all of it's been on my wish list forever. And I just hope I hope they re-release everything, even their quilting stuff, because there's a couple of patterns that they had that had been out for years and years, and I kind of hesitated, and now I wish I would have bought them. And yeah, I just hope they re-release everything. And then I got this from Lila Studio. This is Nevermore. And I've been watching Jen from Quirks and Stitches. She's been stitching hers, and every time she shows it, I love it more and more. And I decided to purchase it from Lila Studios herself, which was fun. She left a little note, and I kept the note because I think it's cool. I also have a couple of, I've ordered from Kathy Barrick, and so I've kept, you know, she just puts like a sticky note on it, and it just says, you know, thank you, Olivia Kathy, and I'm just like, oh, she signed it. So I kept Lila Studios too. And then I also purchased some thread bling. These are thread keepers from Socks for Mom on Instagram. She did, when Mania first started, she did them on Instagram instead of her Etsy shop. I think her Etsy shop right now is taking a vacation, and she's doing most of her selling on Instagram. And so that's Socks for Moms on Instagram. She also has a Flosstube channel, Socks for Mom, and I will put the link to Instagram and to her channel down below. And then she also sent me this just because she likes me. She knows I like patriotic. So sweet. And now I can put it, so all of these, I've been holding on to them and not attaching them to anything so I can show them in my video. And so now I can attach them to all of the stuff I have planned. And then my last purchase was Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio. This one I picked up from 123 Stitch. I ordered it back at the beginning of May, and it just came yesterday. And I also got a piece of 32 count Murky to stitch with it. I'm trying to decide if I want to stitch it only in DMC or if I want to mix. I haven't really decided yet. And honestly, when I'm, you know, some of the Picture This Plus, depending on how they dye it, I feel like it's a little bit of a smaller count. So while this is a 32 count, it looks more like a 35. But I'm still planning on stitching it 2/2 and all the things. So I don't know when I'm going to start it. I haven't decided yet. I've kind of been in this mood lately where I just want to start all the things. I don't know why. I want to start everything. I don't know why. I just do. I want to start everything, and it's taking all of my willpower to just stay in my lane and stitch what I've got going. But it's so hard. There's just so much. I'm anxious to begin stitching for autumn. I want to stitch some Halloween. I still want to stitch patriotic. I don't know. I'm all over the place. All right, I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to clean up my area, and then I'm going to show you what I've been working on. So over the last 2 weeks, I have been working on 4 different projects. One of the projects I forgot to show in my last video. I accidentally left it in my bedroom on the dresser, and I didn't realize that I had left it out of my, you know, sort of progress report until I was editing my video. But I did have a new start in my last video, and that was Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. And I had a little bit of a story that went along with this. And so the long and the short of it goes that Christy, who is Crosshatch Quilts on Instagram as well as Flosstube, her and I have been working on our Queen of Freedoms together. And it wasn't that we had planned to be working on them together. It just sort of happened that we were both working on it. And so we have just been sort of keeping each other motivated by working on it. And now they have kind of come to an end. I mean, we're very close to finishing both of them, and we were very sad because we had enjoyed having that to stitch together. So we got to talking back and forth, and she showed me this, a picture of Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain, and It was one that I had been looking at for a very long time, and we decided, let's stitch this. It's a great big, you know, it's a huge project. It's going to take us a while, and it would be fun to have something else to look forward to begin working on. Only when it arrived, we both decided, let's do it right now. So we started it before my last video came out, and then I talked about it in my last video, and then we posted about it on Instagram, and it sort of erupted into this stitch along. So many of you guys, when you saw it, you loved it, and you wanted to stitch with us, and it just sort of morphed into this sal. So we're calling the sal Lazy Autumn Beast, S-A-L. If you're interested and you have Autumn on Lazy Bear in your stash, maybe you've already started it and you're just looking for motivation, or you've been thinking about getting it, I hope you would join us. It's typical of all the sals. We're just having fun. There's no restrictions on it. Get it done whenever you would like to get it done. We jokingly have said this is our 7-year project. Obviously, I hope it doesn't take 7 years, but you never know. So if you're interested and you want to join us, please do. It's just all in good fun. It started out with 2 friends who were just looking for another project to do together. So I love that it kind of morphed into something beyond our expectations. So hope you join us. I am stitching mine with Jen Lee Quirks and Stitches thread conversion. And so that is a mixture of General Arts and DMC. It's just a very beautiful palette of colors. And I kind of had to shop around the internet to get all of the colors. And this is my progress so far. I've only worked on this 2 days total. Yeah, maybe 3. 3 days, 3 Fridays. Well, I take that back. 2 Fridays and a dark October stitching, dark 13 stitching. I can never remember what it is, but it was May 13th, and so I pulled it out and stitched on it. And I plan on stitching, I don't know if I'm going to stitch on this tonight or if I'm going to stitch, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But no, dark October stitching, is that what it's called? I don't know. Anyway, this is 3 days worth of stitching. I'm stitching 1/2 on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha that I had in my stash. Loving it. The needle minder comes from Mad for Minders on Etsy. I hope you don't mind that I left it in the Q snap. It was just easier to keep it kind of all together instead of taking it out. So that is my progress so far. I'm loving it. I'm very excited for this one to be done at some point. Even my husband Brian likes it. When I was taking all my stuff out for my video, he saw it laying there, and he told me that he really liked the tree and the pumpkins. So it's a lot of fun. It's not necessarily a Halloween stitch, it's more of an autumn. But it's a lot of fun. I hope you will join us if you're interested. Again, the hashtag is lazyautumnbeastsal. And it's an ongoing stitch along, and it's all just in good fun, really. So the other thing that I forgot, well, I shouldn't say the other thing I forgot. The chart the project I forgot to show in my last video was Land of the Free by Blackbird Designs. This was a chart that Dora sent me. It came out of a magazine that I believe is No More, Cross Stitch and Needlework magazine. I'm stitching mine on 32 count doubloon with a variety of flosses. It started out as all General Arts, and I have ended up taking some of the General Arts out and adding DMC. I think this mustard color is DMC, and the roof is going to be DMC. And so that's my progress. It's been a little slow. I worked on it for a little while, and then I kind of set it aside. Here is the threads that I am using. So I have some General Arts in there. There's a couple of DMCs they're missing right now because I have them in my on my bedside table. I have a stitching box, and that's where I've kept them because I'm also using 2 of the threads in Queen of Freedom. So that's why they're not here with this. So hopefully I can get that done soon. It's not such a big project, but I know I started it and then I set it aside for a couple of weeks, and then I had to take my grandma to the dentist a couple of weeks ago and I worked on it, and then I set it aside again, and then this past week I've picked it up and I've been stitching on it to try to get it finished, because it would be kind of nice to have it done with all of the patriotic stitching and just all of like the patriotic decorating and my tree. It would just kind of be nice to have a new patriotic finish. So hopefully I can get that done over the next couple of weeks. And now, Queen of Freedom. You guys are probably wondering, why hadn't I shown Queen of Freedom first? Here is my progress. So I have finished all of her stitching and now I'm working on her beading. And I don't know that you can even tell that there are beads on it. There is a whole column of beads right here. Not a whole lot, there's no beading right in here, but I finished the flag and I'm working right in here on the beading. There's like columns of beading to do. And then there's like some fringe, and then I will do the back stitching here, up in here, her face, and then she's got a bunch of beads that go up on her head. There are a couple of large crystal beads, and those will be the last ones that I put in. But here she is so far. I really, really hope I better have a finish to show you in my next video, because Memorial Day is coming up. It's only, is it a week away? Yeah. 10 days from today. I think it's 10 days from today, so I have 10 days to get this done. So wish me luck. My plan is to get her finished on Memorial Day or by Memorial Day. And then hopefully, I know some of the businesses in Oregon are starting to open up. Some of them opened up today, some are modifying their hours, some are waiting a couple of weeks and then opening. So I'm hoping that the framing shop will open up very soon and I can take this in. I don't know that she's going to get framed by the 4th of July, just because I don't know how much of a backlog that they have with everything being shut down. But my hope is that I will have her framed by the 4th of July. If not, as long as she's done sometime in the summer, because I feel like that's a circumstance I couldn't, I have no control over. In a perfect world, she would be done by Memorial Day and she'd be up on the wall by the 4th of July. So I'm still going to try to shoot for that, hope for the best, but I love her. And I'm so glad that you guys don't mind me showing her. I just really love her. I really, really do. She makes me so happy. I'm probably going to cry like a baby when she's done. She has just been an absolute joy to stitch, and I know that for the rest of my life I will remember stitching on her. So a lot of fun, and I can't wait. Okay, last is Pink Hill Manor by Blackbird Designs. This is also a stitch along. It is BB Anniversaries 2020 that I am co-hosting with Deborah on Instagram, Canopied Stitches. I'm stitching mine on all one piece, and my goal is to get them all stitched together and done by December 31st. It was my New Year, New Start this year, and here is my progress. So I think it looks lovely. I love it. Really, really am enjoying it. Pink Hill Manor is the last one on the top row. This is the one that I am dedicating to my maternal grandparents, Roy and Yvonne. And I just have the rest of the border to finish. Then I'm gonna put their names down here. Then there's like some little, just some little motifs, and then it'll be done. Hopefully I'll have it finished by my next video, and we'll then start on farmhouse, which will be stitched for my paternal grandparents who were berry farmers. So hopefully I will have 2 finishes to show in my next video. Wish me luck. It's very doable, it really is, but it's time. I don't get a lot of time. I've only been averaging about an hour and a half stitching per night. And these are the threads I'm using. They're just kind of a hot mess right now. I'm mixing Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, and DMC. It's getting kind of a little bit of everything. This, of course, is my thread jewelry, or thread keeper from Socks for Mom that she sent me. And I love it, love it. I think it's called Cordelia. So it's a lot of fun. The Anniversaries of the Heart Stitch Along is a never-ending sale, so you don't have to worry about there being an end date. My personal end date is just December 31st because I want to be able on January 1st, 2021 to start have a new year, new start. And just to have this one done, hopefully I'll be able to make that happen. I know that I'm gonna have to pick it up. We're already into the 5th month and I'm barely finishing up the 4th block, even though technically it's the 5th block on my sampler. But I know that sometime during the summer I might have to exclusively work on it for a little while, at least to get a little bit farther ahead, or maybe put it, when Queen of Freedom is done, maybe put it as my weekend rotation for a little while before I start autumn at Hawkburn Hollow. We will see. So that is what I have been working on for the past couple of weeks. As always, thank you to all of you guys who cheer me on Instagram and Facebook when I post pictures of it. I do appreciate it. I love when you guys post me in your progress of anniversaries. Thank you so much for joining in. I know it is quite a big undertaking, but you guys are troopers and you're hanging in there and you're stitching along with me and you're rocking through these blocks, and I love seeing it. I love that you guys are all participating. There's a bunch of new people who have joined, which is a lot of fun. I love seeing that. I'm so happy that you guys are having fun with it. So thank you so much for joining us. It's so much fun. It really is. And I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to move on and show you the one thing that I found in my, I have this box and it has all of my previous finishes in it, and I was looking for something and I was going through and I came across Olga's Tart by Plum Street Sampler. So I finished this 2 or 3 years ago and I've never fully finished it. I think it's because I stitched it on a piece of 28 count. This particular linen, I remember buying it at Michael's. I don't remember what the name of it was. I know my Michael's doesn't carry it anymore. I want to say it was Carolina something, or I don't remember, but I remember buying it in a tube and it was 28 count. And so it finished quite a bit bigger, and when it was done, I wasn't really sure what to do with it, and so I just threw it in the box. I noticed though that when I pulled it out, I forgot to do some of the back stitching. There's no whiskers on the cat. And then down here, there was some vines that I need to back stitch. So hopefully over the next 2 weeks, I will be able to get that finished. And my hope is to turn this into a drum. I think it would be perfect. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I was gonna do it into a tart finish, but because of the size that I did it as, it's too big for, it's kind of in between. It's either too big or too small, depending on which size that I choose. And so I saw somebody had done a drum piece on another piece that you would never have thought that that one would work for a drum, and it totally did. And so I decided that I'm gonna do that to Olga's stocking, and I had planned to do it yesterday, but it didn't happen. So hopefully I will be able to. And again, I need to stop making plans, because the moment I make plans, that's it. It doesn't happen. So that is all of the cross stitching that I have to show for this video. I know it's a little bit short and sweet, but there wasn't a whole lot that really went on other than progress. I still have not got my house completely decorated for summer yet. I need to. I don't know what my deal is. I don't know. Maybe it's because everything is just so weird right now that it just feels weird to decorate. I don't know. Anyway, the garden is partially planted. If you've been following me on Instagram, you saw that I posted a picture of the pumpkins. The pumpkins have been planted. The sunflowers are already popping up. A lot of the flowers are starting to come out. And my goal this year in my flower beds was to try to plant things that would flower during different months, because last year I had planted a whole bunch of flowers. They all flowered at the beginning of summer, and then I had nothing pretty to look at the rest of the year. And so now I have been making sure to plant things that will bloom later in the summer. And so all of those survived the winter, and everything's coming up, and I'm very excited. The blackberries should be ripe around the 4th of July and ready to pick. So that's always exciting. The main garden hopefully will get planted very, very soon. We were gonna try to plant it over the weekend. It just ended up being way too hot, and then it's rained all week. So hopefully we will be able to get that planted very soon. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure that I will post pictures about all of that once it gets done. But as far as the cross stitching goes, that is the end. I'm going to talk a little bit about quilting, and then that will be the end of the video. I have a feeling this video will be a little bit shorter than my normal ones, and but that's okay. Sometimes there's just not a lot that happened, and I do want to make sure I come back every couple of weeks and sort of check in. So anyway, so if you're not interested in hearing about the quilts, before you go, you can always follow me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I have a Facebook page, Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put the links to those down below. But now I'm going to pause the video again, and I'm going to go pull the mystery blocks that I have been working on. And if you're interested in hearing about that, stay tuned. Other than that, I will see you soon. Okay, so let's talk about the mystery quilt that I started in my last video. I do get a lot of questions about it, and if you've been following me, you know what I'm talking about. It's so weird because I can't show you a pattern, and so it's really hard to kind of talk about it because there's no pattern. There's no like black and white pattern that you can follow. Basically, the long and the short, I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm working on nowadays has a story attached to it, and this one does as well. So how this one came about, this mystery quilt, is I belong to a small group called the Tuesday Quilters. And when the quarantine first started, Laundry Basket's Quilt had released a mystery quilt that she was doing. It was going to take place over 15 days, and some of the ladies in my quilt group decided they wanted to do it too. And so while they were assembling it, one of the other ladies who was participating in that particular stitch along, she says, I have an idea for a mystery quilt. And so we all decided, let's do it. You know, there's not a lot going on, and, you know, it sounds like it would be a lot of fun. So when the one mystery quilt ended, ours was supposed to begin with my friend releasing a block every 3 days. And of course we wouldn't know what the block was going to be until she released it. But when it got to about the second or third block, I realized she was following the same format that Laundry Basket's quilt had done. The only thing she had done differently is she had taken each block and she had either added more elements or subtracted, just kind of depended. And so she's kind of making it her own. And the only problem I had was when she did the required fabric, I did not have enough of anything to where I was going to be participating, and my friend Retha was like, well, why don't you do it scrappy? And I thought, well, I can definitely do it scrappy. So that's how I've been handling my blocks. I'm doing them scrappy, much like my long time gone behind me. In fact, a lot of the pieces from this one is also going into this mystery quilt, which I have dubbed Everything But the Kitchen Sink, because literally I'm throwing everything I have at it, trying to make it. So in my last video, I showed you, I think there were 6 or 7 clues that we had done at that time. I just finished clue number 10. And so I'm just gonna show you one block from each clue. Some of the blocks have repeated, but I don't, yeah, I was gonna pull those out and I thought, no, I'll just go ahead and show them. So this one was this one was kind of a repeat. The very first block that we did looked very similar, only this block right here had a bunch of half square. There were 4 half square triangle units in it. There's that one, and then this one, which, was this the one? This is the one I just finished last night. So we only had to do 4 of these. Everything else we had to do 8. Here is another one. And that one was a repeat also. This one was a repeat, the Scrappy Star. And then this one was also a repeat. Yes, this one was a repeat as well. I always get, because a lot of them are kind of looking like these two. These two are basically the same block. So I have to admit, although it is fun digging through all my scraps, I'm ready to be done with it. I have some other quilts that I want to work on, and I'm having to do them kind of in my free time, and I'm ready to move on to them. I'm also hoping that this quilt is going to turn out because I'm flying a little blind. There's no way, most of my friends have a design board, and so I can kind of see how it's going to look, but I just don't know how it's going to look with my scrappy blocks. And I'm hoping it's going to look okay. It's all going to come together in the end. We're sort of working from the outside in, so we have that middle area to work on. I think today is supposed to be the day a clue is supposed to release. So I'm curious to see what it is. But yeah, I'm ready to move on. I have some other quilts that I do want to work on, but I'm liking the scrappiness of it. I'm hoping it's going to work out and look awesome. Of course, nothing beats Long Time Gone behind me. But yeah, so I'm ready to move on. I think we still have a couple more weeks before it's done. So it's coming along little by little. This past clue, we only had to do 4 blocks, but it took me forever. I had it all cut out, and then I was gonna assemble them in the morning yesterday, but there was just, I don't know, everything was going on yesterday. So I didn't get it done until this morning, actually. I finished the last 2 blocks this morning when it was quiet and nobody was around. Anyway, so that's all the quilting I have to show for this video. Hopefully in my next one I will be able to show some that I quilted myself that are just waiting for me to get to them. If I could just gain 5 extra hours a day, that would be perfect. I think I would get a lot accomplished. Anyway, so that wraps it up for this video. If you want to see what I am up to, you can always follow me on Instagram at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I also have a Facebook page, Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I'll put the links for those down below. I will also put my email if you have any questions. And I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Oh yes, I did forget something, and I should have put that at the beginning of my video. That wasn't very smart of me. I did an interview with Becca of Sambry Stitches here on Flosstube. She also has an Instagram under the same name. She is going around, she's interviewing Flosstubers for a special edition on her channel, and it was a lot of fun. It was so wonderful meeting her. She's a Pacific Northwest girl like myself, and I hope that we will get to meet very, very soon. She's so lovely, and she's so sweet and nice. And she's great at doing interviews, really she is, and it was a lot of fun. I will put a link to that interview down below. I know that she has interviewed a couple of other stitchers. This morning I saw that she was interviewing Java Girl, and so I will make sure to put a link to Becca's channel, and you can go check it out. It's always fun to learn a little extra about your Flosstubers, and it's just a lot of fun. So go and check it out if you are interested in seeing that. If I have forgotten anything else, I'm very, very sorry. I will be back in 2 weeks. Hope you have a great one. Hope you get a lot of stitching done. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comment section, and I appreciate you being here so much and sticking with me today. And I guess I will leave you now. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.